Hail and Matches Kingdom. I guess you want to upgrade your weapon to something like this, or maybe get amulet, like this. That is on our market right now for 100 divines, and you definitely don't have leftover mirrors of Calandra to get it. Well, it's time to learn how to craft. So let's start. First of all, there's different types of crafting. One of them is basic Unga Bunga crafting, when you just get your currency, drop it on your items and hope that you will get something good. Well, chances to get anything good from this is somewhere close to try and get Astromantis from Goblin Gamblers or Headhunter Heavy Belt. Yeah, they're close to zero. Goodbye ring. And that's even not crafting, because when you craft you want to somehow affect outcome. So really you want to know about crafting for profits and crafting for yourself. In this video we will talk about crafting for yourself, how to solve a puzzle and how to transform something like this into something like this, or even better. And you can use all the tips that I will explain you today to start profit crafting. However, for profit crafting you need to understand market. So for example, if you're trying to profit craft some crossbows, you won't get any results. Crossbows are so cheap because no one playing crossbows. Basically, tactician is just 4% of player base, witch hunter is even less. So if you're doing profit crafting, you need to check top 3 played ascendancies and what they can look for. The topic of profit crafting is actually even deeper, and if you want me to dive deeper, just leave a comment. But right now, let's understand how crafting actually works. An example of this crossbow. Basically, there's 3 types of items. There's white items, and they will have no bonuses. There is blue items, and blue item will have at least 1 bonus or maximum 2 bonuses. Bonuses, or how they called affixes, separated into 2 categories, prefix and suffix. You will see them when you're highlighting item, and blue item may have 1 prefix and 1 suffix maximum. You can augment white item to blue by using orb of augmentation first, and it will get 1 bonus, suffix or prefix, it's random, and then using orb of augmentation, so it will have maximum bonuses. Then by applying regal orb, item will get 1 more bonus and will be a rare item from this point. It's normal, magic and rare items basically. Suffixes and prefixes will have tiers, and you will see them over here on the right side. There's tier 1 and there's other tiers. They can go somewhere to around 12. And you're looking for tier 1. Tier 1 is the best one. Tier 1 is just what you want to have. Also, different items may have implicit modifiers and they will look something like this, but it's runes, it doesn't matter, it will say implicit over here, above prefix and suffix. Just for example, this crossbow will have implicit chance to pierce an enemy, and this tied to crossbow base. This crossbow called elegant crossbow, and other parts of item name is actually randomly generated. So storm core is actually generated based on our prefixes and suffixes, while item base called desolate crossbow. Where to get these item bases? Well, you can set up your item filter and find them on the maps. You can find them even without item filter, of course, but it's harder in the endgame, and item filter video coming soon. But for now, if you're struggling to find bases, you can find them basically on market. You just need to look for your item, item category, item rarity. For example, if you're looking for normal items, then for normal item. And it's really important to set up your preferred required level. The higher required level, the better base will be, like more powerful base. Or you can use, for example, for magic items, and item level is also important, more on that in a second. And some of them can be very good. For example, if you're looking for crossbow with critical hit, you can find it pretty easily, and they will be really cheap. If you're looking for bow, however, you may pay something around like 10, 20 exalted orbs or even higher, depending on what bonuses it will have right now. And you probably will have a big question right now. When to actually start crafting? Well, actually, before you start crafting, you need to find out, is there any good upgrade for reasonable price? So go on market, try to find what equipment you got and what upgrade you are looking for, and if there's none, then you need to start doing your crafts. If there is some, then you just see what prices. For example, to find upgrade for my crossbow, I probably will need like 200 divine orbs or 100 divine orbs, and that's just too much because I can craft better stuff for a lot cheaper. And that's kinda also what you want to estimate. You want to check what crafting equipment you will need, what currencies, and how much of these currencies you will need to buy to get upgrade. Some of crafts are super cheap, some are not. Okay, this was super basics of the craft. Now we're going into PoE 2DB website and into modifier section to go a little bit deeper so you understand how crafts work. Since we will try to craft crossbow today, let's actually press on modifiers for crossbow. And that's where the all secrets for crafts and items actually reveal themselves. Prefixes and suffixes are not random, not too random at least. They're actually fixed, and there's fixed amount of different prefixes that can roll on your weapon, so you definitely can't roll armor on your weapon. As you can see, there's like limited amount of them. And that's where like main concept comes that you need to understand. It's called item level. You will see this like in this gray area over here, and it's item level required for highest amount of this upgrade possible. To check item level in game, you just need to highlight item and hold Alt button. There's another button on controller, like stick. You can press it and you will highlight your tiers, you will highlight prefixes, suffixes, but also you will highlight item level. It's hidden. And it will be different with required level. So you may have items that is required level like 60, for example. I got actually example for you. So this QStaff right now is required level 67. Does this mean it's bad? No, it's item level 84. I got it from Bridge Boss probably, so from Pinacle content. And item level 84 means that we can roll different suffixes and prefixes of item level 84. If this item level is lower than, for example, 82, then you won't be able to roll this bonus. But not exactly this bonus, you won't be able to roll exactly this bonus. Tier 1 increased physical damage. So this can be rolled only on items of item level 82 or higher. Chances to roll are extremely weak, of course. But we may affect these rolls, and we have a chance to actually get insane results almost without any randomness. And that's exactly like what you want to see over here. There's, for example, if you're dropping like Orb of Transmutation, you're rolling between all prefixes, all suffixes, but also inside of them. So you're basically spinning a wheel with 200 options on it. And it's completely impossible to roll something that you want. How you may affect these results? Well, one of the way is to actually use tiered currency, like tier 2, tier 3 currency. You will see minimum modifier level it will roll. So for example, for Perfect Orb of Transmutation, it will roll at least tier 70 item level modifier. So that's what does it mean. I got 2 bridge rings to showcase it to you. This one is actually item level 69, so I'm not even able to use Perfect Orb of Augmentation on this bridge ring. You see, it's like awful bridge ring. But this is item level 872, so we can roll it, and we will roll tier 2 item rarity, which if we check over here on rings is actually tier 2 and it's item level 65. So these orbs are lying a little bit, but it is what it is. For regal orbs, chaos orbs and exalted orbs, it goes with level 35 for tier 2 and level 50 for tier 3, and it's definitely correct. I tested it a lot, but this one may be lying a little bit. Anyway, another thing that you need to understand that every like upgrade over here will have tags, and that's a tags. For example, if you got physical damage as life, it will have life, physical and attack tags. It's important to understand when you will understand how you may affect the results. And you can do it with extra currency. By extra currency, I mean essences, new desecration items, and also ritual omens. They can affect your rolls in different ways. For example, if you're rolling with exalted orbs, you may just fill your prefixes. Or for example, if you're using essences, you may force your essence to remove prefix or suffix, because essences are tiered into different tiers also, and first 3 tiers will affect magic items, blue items, and this will transfer them into a rare category with 3 modifiers, but perfect essences will steal one of the modifiers and will change it to another one. You also may check essences and desecrated modifiers on PoE 2DB over here, and they also will have tags, so that's basically how you can affect your rolls. One of the basic examples will be something like this. Your crossbow got plus level to all projectile skills, and it got no tags. Then, for example, you're dropping lesser essence of battle, and you're getting pretty low item level accuracy rating on your bow. But why? Well, because you got attack tag right now, and you also got accuracy rating. So you not only blocked prefix modifier, which is accuracy rating, but also you achieved attack tag on your weapon. Now you may go into ritual and get homogenizing omens. Omen of Homogenizing Exaltation, to be more precise. They are worth 100 exiles right now, so they rising in prices, of course. Everyone likes to craft. But what it does, it basically will add the same modifier type with next exalted orb slam as your current modifier. So you can combine it with Orb of Greater Exaltation, and you will slam 2 modifiers, add Perfect Exalted Orb, and guess what, right now you will be rolling between all attack modifiers. But you may roll something in suffixes. Well, again, there's ways how you can affect it. You will add Omen of Sinistral Exaltation, so you will only roll prefix modifiers. This means we will roll these modifiers, and with Perfect Exalted Orb we will roll at least level 50 plus. Yeah, it may roll something low, but more often than not it will roll pretty good modifiers. And we got one bad modifier, which is accuracy rating. Guess what? We again have solutions for it. For example, we got omens that will affect chaos rolls, and they cost a lot, so yeah, it's not a cheap crafts. I'm talking about high-end crafts, but I will show you some cheap crafts today. And we will combine it with Omen of Whittling, so it will be like 6 divines to roll this stuff, maybe like 5. And also like 1 divine for Perfect Chaos Orb to roll at least level 50. This combination will take lowest level modifier and its item level, and also it will take prefix modifier. Sometimes you don't need prefix modifier, because if it's only lowest level modifier, it will automatically roll, so it makes our craft cheaper. And we will reroll it into another at least level 50 plus modifier. Yeah, it can be a little bit random, but again, that's basically how you may affect your rolls in best possible way and get like best possible rolls. The problems will start when you try to get some good stuff on the bottom part, but it can be achieved again by using, for example, omens that will force essences to take prefixes of suffixes. And if we filled all prefixes, of course we will take something from suffixes. Suffix is bad, basically we just slam Exalted Orb, check if suffix is bad. If it's bad, we just use this combination to force Perfect Essence of Battle for plus level to all attack skills, in combination with the Exile Crystallization, so we're basically exchanging bad modifier for good modifier. Then we can slam again, hope for good result. If it's bad again, we can try to use same combination, but for example with Essence of Haste for at least getting this onslaught bonus for us. It's a pretty good one. And if we roll 50-50, then we finish our craft with, for example, Preserved Jawbone to Desecrate Weapon, and probably roll something good. Definitely, I just described to you the ways you may affect your crafts, but here's like basic strategies and cool strategies you may use. For example, this item is called Fracturing Orb. You may get it by just fighting on cleansed maps that is left after you cleanse corruption, and it can drop over there. What this item is doing, basically it's locking the modifier on item with at least 4 modifiers. This means if you have 4 modifiers, you get only 25% chance to lock something that you like. And that's actually how this amulet was done. But instead of rolling 25% chance, I actually used Desecrated modifier first. Desecrated modifier can't be locked, so by desecrating force modifier, we got 4 modifiers, but we rolling between one of the 3 modifiers. It locked Spirit, and then it's just a story. Actually, it's pretty fun story, because with fractured modifiers, you can for example use Orb of Annulment to remove some modifiers, and leave only 2. And now you will just Chaos Orb roll, you just slam Chaos Orbs over and over again, and they're pretty cheap compared to other currencies. And probably with like 50 Chaos Orbs I got what I need. Now I will share you my approach and how I approach crafts. And I'm using not only PoE 2DB but also MS Paint. Yeah, that's how you can craft really good stuff. Let me explain. We will go into, for example, Intelligence Helmet category. I want to craft a really good intelligence helmet. And now we will drop it over here on the screen. Don't forget your essences, they are also important. And we will start our craft. So let's craft great intelligence helmet. This helmet is not really perfect because while quality is plus 30, required level is 59. So even with really high quality, we're getting not the best energy shield possible. What is most important is of course item level, and we got item level 80. Anyway, we will take it for example. First of all, we're separating our prefixes and suffixes. If you're forgetting this, it's basically suffixes, this one is prefixes. And now we need to understand what we actually want from this helmet. For example, I want helmet for like monk or maybe deadeye, with high energy shield. Therefore, the stuff that we are looking for is probably critical hit chance. So we're taking this critical hit chance from the left side and adding it in our suffixes, because it's in a suffix side. So that's actually the main idea of our craft, to have high energy shield with critical hit chance on our helmet. Maybe some resistances. It will be good helmet. First of all, to get a result we want, we need to first of all check tags, and it's critical. And we need to find out, can we force critical tag? If we check all essences and all discreted modifiers, there is no critical tag. This means to make this helmet, we need to start with helmets that already have increased critical hit chance. If you listened from beginning, well, you know that basically you need to collect loads of white helmets and drop augmentations and transmutations and hope you get this critical hit chance in one of the rolls. Second roll doesn't matter. Therefore, we will start our rolls with some random modifier. Let's say we rolled maximum life. We need to make this roll because there's a chance that we will get increased energy shield. That's what we want on our helmet. And it will skip bunch of steps for this craft. Right now, price of this craft basically 0. If we check helmets with 0 evasion and 0 armor, so it will have only energy shield, with modifier which called increased critical hit chance, and it's magic helmets only, well, best possible rolls is on a sale just for 8 exalted orbs right now. Now here's the deal. There's an option, and it's pretty cheap option, to use something like perfect regal orb. Technically it's the same as perfect exalted orb or perfect chaos orb, it rolls high roll modifier. And also there's ritual omen that can affect it. So before crafting, just try to learn and read what each omen can do, so what options you may have and how much they cost. This one is extremely cheap, and it will add modifier with the same type as existing modifier on item. So in the case when there's critical modifier and life modifier, you get no other chance than to roll any life modifier, and there's loads of life modifiers that we don't want on this helmet. So that's a bad idea, but if you rolled for example high energy shield, you can try and use this regal orb and maybe you will roll high increased energy shield, and you basically will get like almost best in slot. But then you will need to do something with maximum life roll. If it's low, yeah, you can go with chaos orb, and basically you need to calculate chances and also costs of this craft. But right now I want to show you cheap way and pretty straightforward way how you can, for example, craft this type of helmet. One of the most straightforward ways is to actually get resistance you need, and that's why crafting is good. For example, if you're lacking fire resistance, you can just craft helmet that you need with fire resistance. It will be not perfect roll, but it will be high enough to be good. So that's our step 1, dropping fire resistance essence. Now we will have a rare item at this point, and if you have good prefix, we can actually skip the next step. But one of the best strategies to craft your items is to actually fill suffixes or prefixes first. For weapon, it will be probably filling prefixes, because it's a lot harder to fill them later. For armorers, it's, in my opinion, most of the time a lot easier to fill bottom part and then force top part to be good. So what is our goal right now is to remove this maximum life, since we don't need it. And especially if you're doing something for trade, a lot of players playing Chaos Inoculation, they don't have life, so it's like bad roll. How we can remove it? Well, we can use another essence. There's the problem. Right now we will be using only perfect essences, which will remove one of the modifiers, and we get 2 modifiers on bottom, which is good and we're looking for. A cheap way is to actually just drop this essence right now. It costs just 1 exalted orb. So you may buy a bunch of helmets like this, you may drop fire resistance essence on top and you will get it, and then you can just drop this essence also. It costs, let me actually check. So it costs just 1 exalted orb. 1 exalted orb, and technically, like, if you got helmets like this, yeah, I just got this helmet, for like few exalts, trying to craft on them will cost you, for example, like 10 exalts per attempt. And it's super cheap. But let's say you're trying to make a really good item and it's not super cheap like this. Therefore, you want to affect where this essence will remove modifier. It's 2 ways. One of them is to use omens. So this will go for 25 exalted orbs, and it will make sure we're removing prefix. Since right now we got only 1 prefix, we will guarantee to remove this one. And it's nice to know where this essence will go. For example, this essence will go over here, so it goes into prefixes. But if you're using other essences, for example, like essence of attributes that gives you strength, dexterity or intelligence, and you got filled suffixes, it will be 100% that it will remove one of the suffixes, since it will have no other way to go. That's basically how you may force them again cheaply. You just YOLO slam few exalts and then try to get good item. By making this swap, we will have increased armor or energy shield, actually like energy shield from this helmet, and we will lose this maximum life. So we will have 3 very good bonuses, and technically we will have defense tag and we will have elemental fire resistance tag. Guess what? On our top part there is no elemental fire and resistance tags. This means we can force defensive tag, and since we already will have increased energy shield, we can roll maximum energy shield or mixed maximum energy shield and life and mana. So we'll have 1 out of these 3 bonuses, all of them are pretty okayish, and in reality we're looking to have in 2 maximum energy shield. So that's like best bonus we may have. Now we will have 2 options. One of them will be to use exalted orbs of tier 2 that will roll at least level 35. This means we will cut this part and we will get tier 1, tier 2 or tier 3. Same goes for all other bonuses. Another option is to use perfect exalted orb that will roll above item level 50, but it gives us just slightly better chances to get a little bit more of this item, and I don't want to make this craft extremely costly, therefore we will pay like 4 exalted orbs for 1 greater exalted orb. That's a bad deal, but okay. And we need to make sure this goes into our prefixes, because if we force our suffixes, well, we can roll increased energy shield recharge rate, and we don't want it. To do it, we need to get into rituals. We want to have 2 exalted orbs for a price of 1 with omen of greater exaltation, and we want to make sure we adding these exalted orbs into prefixes with omen of sinistral exaltation. This costs like few exalted orbs. So this craft over here right now, the most costly item is omen of sinistral crystallization. Again, it's like 25 exalted orbs. What will happen? We will get basically these bonuses, and our prefixes will be filled. So we will have just perfect maximum energy shield prefixes. They won't be a super like high roll. For high roll you need to gamble a little bit sometime with high exalted orbs and stuff like that. But what to do with our suffixes? In our suffixes we will have problems if we try to make the same strategy with forcing exalted orbs, because now we will have loads of tags like defensive tags, life tags, and we can roll loads of like stuff we don't need. There's a chance that we will roll resistance or elemental, and it will give us basically 1 more resistance. But there's also a way how we can force something that we need. For example, we will have fire resistance. Why not to have even more fire resistance on this helmet, so it will fulfill our fire resistance needs. And there's different ways how you can achieve it. I will go for cheapest way, and cheapest way won't give us actually fire resistance. So to do it, we need to use our latest mechanic, our desecration. So we need a way to desecrate armor, basically rip, and if there's 3 slots on item, it won't actually remove anything, it will just add 1 desecrated modifier. So at this point we will have 1 free slot at the bottom part, and that's basically what we're adding. Now we can actually affect what exactly mod we will get. It's Amanamu, it's Kurgular, or it's Ulaman. Here's the deal, if you're forcing, for example, Amanamu, you will get one of these mods, and there's 4 of them, and you will get only 3 different mods on this roll. If you're forcing Kurgular, again it's 5, so it's harder to hit. But if you're forcing Ulaman, well, it's one of the 2, so basically it's 100% chance to get this stuff. So if you're going for Ulaman, basically it's like 1 exalt per preserved rip, and it's just 1 exalted orb for omen of sovereign to force Ulaman modifier. Sometime you need to force modifier, desecrated modifier, into prefix or suffix earlier and into separate part. So this can be achieved by using omen of dextral or sinistral necromancy. It will force to drop this omen basically in your suffix or in your prefix. That's it. So that's our full craft. Overall price for this craft without sinistral crystallization is around 5 exalted orbs, maybe 10, but it's just 1 map basically. With this omen it's like 30-35 exalted orbs. And we made it basically in this puzzle situation. We're solving a puzzle, we feeling like what we can do. That's my approach to crafts, and let's try to craft it. So, greater essence of flames will add fire resistance. Sorry, wrong essence. It's this one for resistances. Ta-da! Fire resistance, we got it. Now we're using sinistral crystallization that will remove prefix modifier. Let's double check. Yeah, we will remove this maximum life. Ta-da! Okay, here's the problem. As I told you, it's nice to read what you can do, and I forgot that this extra defenses is actually greater essence. It's not perfect essence. So we can't remove top part right now with that essence, but there's another one, and it can make our helmet recoup taking damage as life. So we will adapt on the fly basically with this craft. I don't want this modifier, but there is essence which called essence of the abyss, and it will remove random modifier and augment rare item with new guaranteed modifier, Mark of Abyssal Lord. You will find these essences from fighting these green guys. And again, it should count as perfect essence, I hope. Let's find out. Pow! Yeah, it counts like a perfect essence. So we changed our top modifier into Mark of Abyssal Lord. Now to fulfill this craft, basically, again, ideation is still the same, but we just need one more item. It will be Preserved Rib. So we will desecrate it, because when you get this Mark of Abyssal Lord from Essence, you actually will be sure that this desecration will go into this slot basically. Now the only thing we need to think about is actually, is there any desecrated modifiers that we wish? Well, there is none. There's no desecrated modifiers specific for helmet. And there's two ways actually how we can approach the next step. If you're making some mirror tier items, if you want some crazy good bonuses, you can try and get Ancient Rib. Ancient Rib is 200 exalted orbs, and it will give you at least level 40 modifier, so it's actually rolls pretty good stuff. But 200, like, is a little bit too much for this fun helmet, so I will buy this stuff, and we will go into Well of Souls. In Well of Souls, it's Act 2 basically in Mastodon Badlands. Explore area and you will find it if you don't have it yet. You can open it and you will drop item over here to reveal desecrated modifier. However, there is Omen of Abyssal Echoes, so let's desecrate it and activate this Omen. It will give us ability to reroll this modifier once, if we don't think that there's something good over here. Let's reveal it, so we can reroll it if we wish to. And there's Life, Energy Shield, and Life Mix, and Maximum Mana. We need to check, is 34 Energy Shield and Maximum Life is actually good. And yeah, it's not that bad. Let's call it like this. It's not that bad. It's actually pretty high roll. Now we get like a choice. We can reroll it and try to get maximum energy shield or increased energy shield. Basically, we can try to have it, but I'm fine with tier 2 roll. That will give us pretty nice protection. But we will need to reroll it. Well, because if I take this, I will have life tag, and the next Exalted Orb probably will roll a life modifier. So let's check. Here we go. We got increased energy shield 90%. And that's actually like pretty high tier roll. It's tier 2. We're definitely taking this. And with this method, again, the problem is that we can't force another resistance on bottom. So there's like a little problem, and you just need to decide what you want better, like extra chaos and other resistance on bottom part. So we're not starting with fire resistance essence, instead we will start with essence of enhancement, so we can desecrate bottom part later. But right now this helmet is already pretty okay. So for cheap craft, you can leave it like this, you can exalt slam and you can have something cool. But if you wish, you can add like half of divine to your craft, or just farm rituals a little bit. These homogenizing exaltation omens are pretty like common. I got loads of them for another crafting session, and by activating this one, you will force existing modifiers on the item to affect our roll. Greater exaltation will force to use two exalted orbs instead of one, and this will force exalted orb to affect only prefix modifiers. Therefore, we will completely fill prefixes with only increased energy shield stuff. It will be a mix of mana, life, and energy shield, or it will be added energy shield flat, which we're actually looking for. So let's slam. Ow. And we got one flat energy shield, which is tier 2 by the way, and one mixed life energy shield. Just like that, in this current form, this helmet is already costs like 4 divine orbs. 4 divines, and we just used like half of divine for this craft. To finish this craft, technically we got no other options than to slam greater exalted orb and pray for one more resistance. Pow! We got life regeneration, that's also fine. Still, this item is not worth like a lot more. And we see exactly the same item, kinda the same item, that sells for 7 divine orbs. And it's only one, so probably we can sell it pretty easily. Another thing that this item got 20% quality. So yeah, actually by adding quality on our item, we will increase our energy shield, and by adding this iron rune, we will increase it even more. And it falls into 10 divine range. We can resell it, I will leave it for me. It was a pretty fun craft. And here's another fun craft for you. I got base, basically tier 1 rolled quarter staff with tier 1 physical damage, I started by slamming augmentation on top, so our idea is to get rid of it. And I start by using greater essence of abrasion to add physical damage. It will add this physical damage on top, so we're making nice physical damage QStaff. Now it's tricky. I got one really good option. I can use essence of, for example, cold or lightning with this omen, so it will be forced to remove intelligence and it will give me full suffixes. However, I really want another bonus on my QStaff, and it's plus level to all skills. While at the same time I decided to actually try and get Kurgular modifier in my prefixes with increased cold damage. I'm doing this QStaff for maybe some like cold invoker or something like this. So right now I'm removing intelligence and adding plus 6 level to skills by using this essence. We got pretty good QStaff. Then I'm forcing desecration into prefixes with bunch of omens, and I'm forcing Kurgular modifier into prefixes. So at this point we will have 3 prefixes and 1 suffix. Since it's really high-end craft and it costs a lot, I like to have some safety measures in case I will like to completely annul all this craft and start crafting again on this base. So I tried to fracture my perfect roll and we got it. So it's right now fractured, it can't be changed. Now there's a bunch of options. We can actually start adding modifiers and play with essences and try to get onslaught buff, but I don't like to play with onslaught. I like more power against bosses, and I definitely don't want to force modifiers with homogenizing omen because it can roll some bad attack rolls like life leech and stuff like that. And I decided to YOLO a little bit on this craft, and I used perfect exalted orb, which will add 2 modifiers with double modifier, so it's just cheaper. And tada, we got increased attack speed and increased light radius with accuracy rating. That's basically how item looks right now. And here's the deal, we got insanely cool perfect like increased attack speed roll, we got insanely cool attack skills, our top part is just insanely good. Our only problem is accuracy rating and light radius. And while it looks like it's tier 1 roll, well, it's pretty low item level. So I decided to try to use Omen of Whittling with Chaos Orb to reroll it. However, I can't reroll right now, at least I don't see what will happen. So I decided to go into Well of Souls and reveal my modifier. Of course, I'm taking safety measures, so I can reroll modifier if it will be bad. And I'm rolling and finding exactly what I was looking for. Increased cold damage and increased freeze build-up. Sounds great to me, so we're taking this stuff, confirming, and let's check item right now. With perfect Chaos Orb, yes, we will reroll accuracy rating and light radius. In the end, this craft costs around 6-7 divine orbs, and with enough luck, we just rolled leeching physical damage as mana. It's not a bad roll actually, because sometimes these invokers actually lacking mana. The closest QStaffs on the market goes for 40 and 90 divine orbs. We wasted like 10 divine orbs on this. Probably if I would buy the base with tier 1 physical damage roll, it will go for like 5, maybe 10 divines. So if you try to like buy and make this craft, it costs like 20 divines and it can go for like 40, maybe 50 divines based on market. But again, you need customers. That's why I'm not doing loads of crafts for profits. I'm just having fun playing game and crafting for myself. And if you want to learn more about crafts, watch these videos on the screen right now. That's my big crafting session where I craft insanely cool breach rings, insanely overpowered bows, crossbows, and most of these crafts costs less than 1 divine and they output like 10 divine, 50 divine items. I hope you enjoyed this video and see you in the next ones.